What's up guys, Tim here from Audio Tutor. So let's finish off this series then. We're talking about the Vintage EQ collection from Logic Pro 10. This is a new collection that they added in the latest update. These are really cool emulations of some famous pieces of gear. So we've gone through so far the console EQ emulation and the tube EQ. If you missed those videos, check them out. I'll put a link in the description or whatever, you can check those out. I believe all of these are in a playlist now. Anyway, so now we're talking about the graphic EQ emulation, which looks something like this. Ta-da! Alright, and so it's a graphic EQ, and a little secret between you and me, I don't love graphic EQs. I find they're kind of limiting. But that doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't use a graphic EQ. You might love them. I do find them useful sometimes, especially when recording into something. So I have a little analog mixer that I sometimes use for live gigs and stuff like that, and that has a little graphic EQ on it, which I find very useful actually, because it's sort of it's got all those frequencies that you often are going to jump into, so you can just take out some of that muddiness or boost some of that presence or something like that. So I do find them useful sometimes. Most of the time when I'm mixing, I find them a bit limiting. But let's start off with the usual question: what model are we emulating here? This is an emulation of the API 560, a very well-known graphic EQ that many mixing engineers out there have used, and you'll notice that they've kind of flipped it on its side. It normally stands up straight, and they've put it on its side. I think that's just kind of to help you see what you're doing a bit better. One thing that's nice in this, and I don't think you can do this with the real piece of gear. I highly doubt you can do it with a real piece of gear. In this emulation, you can head over here to the tune section, and you can actually change the frequencies that you're adjusting here. So all these different frequency bands, you can actually change them, turn them all the way down here. So you notice, like, let's say here, well, let's look at the red one, that would be obvious. The red one here is at 891, and if I tune it down, it's now on 59561. I can tune that up or down or whatever. So that kind of gives me a bit more, I was saying about graphic EQs can be kind of limiting. That gives you a bit more adjustment that you can make. You can kind of change things up a bit there. So if you want to find a particular frequency to cut out or boost or whatever, that gives you a bit more leeway to do that. So there you go. Let's have a listen here. I've done a little boost here. I've done a little boost here at 10K. Let's just have a listen to what that does. I'll turn it off for a second so you can hear the track that we're listening to here. Zen. This is a little tune that I put together just a few days ago. That's it's sort of, I'm going for that, like, getting things done in the morning vibe. So I've just kind of threw it together. I'm going to put it out on Spotify and that, because lots of people are enjoying it. So yeah, I called it Pancakes because I wanted some pancakes. So let's have a listen to what the graphic EQ here does. As I said, we're boosting here at 10K. This is right on the master. This is a full master of the track. So we're boosting just 2 dB at 10K, and we've got the drive setting at 4. So let's have a listen to that. just bringing out some of that nice top end stuff. Bringing that piano sounds a little bit more airy and nice there. Some of those guitars sound a little nicer there as well. So it's nice. I mean, it's doing what most EQs do. Let's be honest. As one last little test here, though, I sort of thought, what else can we do here with the vintage EQ series? Well, maybe we want to compare them to each other. So what I've done is I've set up the channel EQ, the console EQ, the graphic EQ, and the tube EQ all doing exactly the same thing, just boosting at 10K with the same drive setting and all of that. They've got all the same settings, and I'm going to just flip between them all so you can hear the difference of all of these emulation plugins. You can just kind of hear those little differences they're making in the, how they're changing the transients and all of that sort of thing, the different saturations they're adding. So yeah, let's dive in. I'm just going to flip between them, and I'll put a bit of text up so you know which one's which. Alrighty, there you go. Now, you may not have heard much of a difference. I know that while I'm recording this video, I can't hear that much of a difference either, to be honest. I think I can I can hear a difference straight away between the emulation EQs and the stock EQ. The stock EQ just has a cleaner, more digital sort of sound. But to be honest, it's such a subtle difference. One of the things that I want you guys to know out there, or to just keep in mind, is don't get bogged down in this stuff. The more important thing is that you know that you needed to boost that little bit in the top end above 10K. These fine little details about, which emulation EQ you're using and that sort of thing, don't get bogged down in it. Enjoy it for 5-10 minutes and then get on with doing the real meaty stuff and really making a difference to your mix. These little things, just don't get bogged down in it. I mean, that's just my advice. Some people would disagree, I'm sure, but I just think you can spend hours on end debating whether your console EQ is better than the graphic EQ or better than this third-party plugin or whatever. And I think you at the end of the day, you're not making those big decisions that can really change a mix and really change a record or a recording or whatever. So don't get bogged down in it. But one last thing that I've set up here is I've got the stock EQ here on the final master fader, and the nice thing about these stock EQs in Logic is they've got an analyzer already on there, which is nice, so you can actually see what's happening on that frequency spectrum there. So what I'm going to do is flip between all of those EQs again, and you can see and hear the difference, so that maybe might help to point certain things out. So let's go ahead with that. Okay, so you may have noticed a bit more of a difference there, being able to look at it and hear it at the same time. I think I noticed a bit of a dip around sort of 600-700 hertz on that last one, on the Tube EQ there. So I don't know, but I don't know if it makes much of a difference, to be honest. It's like that old thing that you may have heard before on other channels and other YouTube channels or whatever. When many famous mixing engineers have been asked, what compressor should I use on this? What EQ should I use on this? La la la. The answer is always the one you have. At the end of the day, the important thing is the moves you're making with the piece of equipment, and not necessarily whether you're going to use an 1176 or an LA2A. It does, of course, it makes a difference, but the biggest difference is going to be in the actual moves you're making. So keep that in mind, guys. Anyway, if you are looking for some equipment recommendations, I have a free ebook for you. There's a link in the description below. You just click that to download it, and it's basically a list of all that equipment you need to get started recording and mixing. But it's not just for people who are starting out, it's also for people who have been recording and mixing for a while and are just looking for some nice cheap recommendations, things that are nice and affordable, but also great quality. Some great little tips and advice in there as well. It's 25 pages long, a great little ebook for you, so enjoy that. And at the moment, as I record this, that ebook actually comes, it's all set up so it comes with a little bonus surprise, which is actually a completely free little video course, 4 parts to it, I think. Maybe 4 or 5. I think 4. I'm not sure, but it's a little video course for you, absolutely free from me to you. So you sign up for the ebook, you're going to get that video course as well. So go ahead, enjoy it. The link's just below this video. So click on that. You give me your email address so I can send you everything. And yeah, enjoy. For now, guys, my name's Tim from Audio Tutor. Ciao.